What's going on, Jerome's? So I understand that the Gophers and the Michigan State Spartans have a pretty large basketball game tonight and split allegiances. So uh, the thing I like most about college basketball is I'm not tied to a team, so I can just root for whoever I'm wagering jelly beans on. And actually, I have no bet on this game because I don't know, the algorithm doesn't like it. But the Gophers, the Clem Haskins years, I mean, come on, man. Like, hey, I understand that they were taken away because of grades, but it was real to me, man. Bobby Jackson, Sam Jacobson, Eric Harris, Courtney James, Miles Tarver, and the awesome mustache. Let's go. But Michigan State, respect what Tom Izzo has done. Love the Flintstones with Mateen Cleaves and Mo Peterson and Allen Anderson. Barkland Day. Turncoat, just leaving us. It happens, man. Also, going back to Magic Johnson, 79, over Larry Bird, Indiana State, all that stuff. So whatever happens, happens. Just as long as the game goes over. But Super Bowl week is upon us, and local media jackals are descending upon the great state of Nevada, Silver State, and the cost to get into the Super Bowl is kind of lofty. Now, they love pointing out that, like, hey, Super Bowl tickets from back in the day were like $10, $5, and even with inflation, it's a couple $100. But now the Super Bowl has gotten so corporate that it's really tough for hardcore fans to get in. Las Vegas Issues tweeted this out. The lowest ticket price for Super Bowl 58, nailed it, is $8,300. This is the most expensive Super Bowl in NFL history. So, I mean, two seats, just 16.6. So that's like a nice used Nissan Altima that you're spending on two seats, and your team might get their ass whooped. or might give away the Super Bowl 28-3. I don't know, man. But I mean, that's rough. The economy is kind of tough, and money is still money. And I mean, some of these prices are ridiculous. Also, that 883, you're all the way up in the nosebleeds, and Allegiant Stadium has like 5 decks, man. So it's kind of ridiculous. And like the hardcore meat and potato blue collar fans who scrape and scrimp and save every single year for season tickets, hardcore fans, like, they're priced out. So imagine like loyal Vikings fans who have waited decades to see their team in the Super Bowl again next year. Where's the Super Bowl next year? Doesn't matter. But yeah, some of these tickets are ridiculous because what it is, it's corporations buying up seats, giving away. Is like, hey, who's the number one salesperson this year? Johnny, you get 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. Congratulations. Blah, 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 blah. So all it is corporate flexing, and it's dumb. It's dumb. I feel like there should be an allotment that goes into a pool that trickles down to season ticket holders at face value. Not this ridiculous inflated thing, but sort of is what it is. Speaking of tickets, so Las Vegas locally, great account, give them a follow. Some big gamblers and independent casino hosts are in hot water for selling Super Bowl tickets they received as comps from Las Vegas casinos, according to a source. Now, I don't really play in the pit. Like, I'll do a little sports betting. I'll play a little craps, and then I'll play poker, right? And those are games that generally don't get the comps. So, well, I mean, craps to a degree, but it's not like Baccarat or Blackjack or the slots, the big-time games that roll up a lot of the comps. Now, if you see some of your friends that like to partake, wager some jelly beans every now and then on table games, and they're getting these massive suites from high-end hotels and casinos, there's a reason. There's a reason. And hotels are really good about this. Casinos are really good about this. Well, they should be better, where if people want to come in and punt off their hard-earned cash in your establishment in games where you are a favored, you should be rolling out the red carpet treatment. You should be getting all of the prime reservations and private tables at your 5-star restaurants. They should be getting your suites. They should be getting everything, man. And Super Bowl tickets is a big deal. And Las Vegas Super Bowl. Also, I think that Las Vegas is going to be part of the regular rotation. And I don't know why casinos would be mad, because if your whales are getting Super Bowl tickets, I mean, first off, that's a hell of a comp, and plus, I'm sure they're not nosebleed seats. But hey, if they're selling them, if they're giving away, that's one thing, right? But if they're selling them, it's probably going to be above face value, so they're making some margin there. That money is a bajillion percent coming back to your casino at the baccarat table, and they're betting on the tie. That's what's going to happen, man. So I wouldn't sweat it. Like, in fact, I would be pretty damn excited about it, because all of a sudden these comps that you're giving out is being turned into liquid cash, and that's coming back into your coffer. So why be mad? Speaking of mad, so the Niners are mad. This is from 33rd Team. 49er staffers are reportedly not pleased with the field at UNLV, where there are designated practice throughout the week. They feel the grass is too soft for the team to practice on, sources say. This is not a health and safety issue as much as it is simply a preference issue. So now I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I mean, if you say that the practice field is too soft, it's kind of on you. Also, how bad is it that the Raiders' home locker room is now decked out in Chiefs logos? And the Chiefs get to practice at the Raiders facility as opposed to at UNLV. Which is kind of fun, man. Oh, yeah, Chiefs are the home team for this year's Super Bowl, so they get to practice at the Raiders' semi-new $75 million facility, right? So, I don't like. First off, like, why does UNLV have real grass anyway? It doesn't make any sense, even if it's an outdoor practice facility. But I don't know. I feel like the Niners in some way are like, they try to mentally manipulate themselves, saying like, "Oh, underdogs, we're underdogs, bro. You're favored in every single game this year." Including the Vikings game, which you lost. Now the field is too soft. Shut up. Shut your face. Also shut your face. So the NFL, not only do they have the opening Thursday night game, Super Bowl champions generally hosting another premier team, but last year was the Chiefs and the Lions. But also they're having a Friday night game. Friday night, and it's going to be one of the Eagles' home games, and it's going to be down in Brazil. Make it the first time the NFL has played a Friday night game, blah, blah, blah. So they're playing in Sao Paulo. And so the NFL generally doesn't play on Fridays until the end of the high school football schedule. Now, I wonder if, because it's in a foreign country, that makes it okay. I don't even know if that agreement is still in place. I don't know if it was an actual, like Federal Trade Commission deal. I don't know why or if it was just like a gentleman's agreement, but I don't know. But I understand growing the game, but I don't know, like how big is American football down in Brazil? Like, football is life down in Brazil and in South America in general. I get that, and I know that we have a handful of Brazilian fans, and they're hardcore, and I respect that, man. But if you're going to invade another continent, wouldn't Africa make more sense? Wouldn't Asia make more sense? I don't know, man. Who knows? But yeah, the Eagles are playing in Sao Paulo, which is awesome. They're getting some use from those 2012 Olympic stadiums, or no, the World Cup stadium, whatever stadiums. The Bears are hosting a game in Tottenham. Same thing with the Vikings. Whatever. To dare is to do, and to dare is to do to not to fill that trophy case with any silverware. Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, hosting their game at Wembley. Wake up with Wembley. And also Carolina is hosting a game in Germany this year at the Allianz, which is the lesser of the Allianz. No big deal. All right, so NFL expanding borders. How long until there's an international team? I think it's... I don't see them having a London team. I think that would be extremely difficult, and they'd probably have to break it up where it would be like 4 games at home, 4 games on the road, 4 games at home, 4 games on the road, 1 extra game. That's what it'll have to be like. They'll have to be basically a barnstorming or a rover type team. I think that would make the most sense. But I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out because it's happening soon. A team in Mexico City would probably make more sense, but argument for another day. Roger Goodell has his usual State of the Union of the NFL press conference. Yeah, of course, he had the pressing questions. Burt Breer, go. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said he went to 2 Taylor Swift concerts last year. I can easily calm down. And thinks her presence at games has opened the league up to a new set of fans. Having the Taylor Swift effect is positive. Of course it is. Of course it is. You have one of the most popular pop stars in the universe, and it's her fan base and the NFL fan base is generally like they cross over a little bit, but if it's a Venn diagram, I mean, there's very large spaces on the outside. So the NFL, like any attention, any additional revenue, any eyeballs, any additional ratings means money. So that's exactly why they've run with the whole Taylor Swift thing. And also, it's not so annoying that people complain about Taylor Swift. the people complaining about the Taylor Swift coverage is even worse. But I'm perfectly fine with it. I actually like Taylor Swift. I think her music is super catchy, and I don't think it's that big of a distraction. It's kind of like when Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo were a thing. Who cares? Who cares, man? Something I do care about is they basically neutered the kick return, which, if you have good special teams, that can be the equalizer. And I was told that special teams was supposed to be just as important as offense and defense. It's like the third phase, it's supposed to be 1/3 of the game. Who knew? But Kevin Seifert, who's not Carl Gershman, speaking in Las Vegas, Roger Goodell says potential changes to the kickoff rule. We need to innovate. He adds, I hope that there will be a major focus this spring. Just get rid of it. You completely neutered it, and you completely made it inert, where a guy like King Kenneth and Wangu, who is the best kick returner in the league, his contributions is minimal, where the whole thing about can't get a running start, can't do this, can't do that, can't set up 25 yards of its touchback. It's just get rid of it. Just get rid of it, right? So the team just starts with the ball at the 20 or 25, whatever you want to do. But also, they need to revisit the onside kick rule because it is basically impossible to recover an onside kick. I think it's like, 4%? It's something dumb. But 4th and 15 play from your 35. Set it up. You have to cross midfield to retain possession. I kind of like it. And I'm glad that the XFL put that in. Goodell, of course, asked about the refs, where it seemed like the refs were the main character in a lot of games this year, a lot of controversial calls in high-profile games, and with all the technology in the world, they're just like, oh, we'll still get it wrong. But Mark Maskey, beat writer in Vegas, this is what he said, quote, when Goodell asked about the officials, quote, I think our officials do a great job. They are superior. Compared to what? But at the end of the day, no one is perfect. Now, I don't know if the answer is full-time refs, because a lot of the refs, they have their professional jobs. They literally have their day jobs, and then they just fly out to a city and then they officiate games, right? But having them as year-round refs, like in training and practice, I don't know if that's the answer, but maybe enhanced training. I don't know. But also, I do think that certain things should be reviewable. I don't think things like holding or now you go down a slippery slope, because what's great about soccer, aka football, is that with VAR, a virtual assistant referee, I think that's what it stands for, they spot check fouls on the spot, and they can make changes in game, unless you're Liverpool, and then sometimes you get screwed even by VAR. But if you do things like holding, you could call holding on every single play, especially in slow motion with all of the replays. If you do pass interference, you could basically call pass interference or defensive holding every single play. So I don't know what the perfect answer is. Maybe there isn't one. But also, my conspiracy theory is that the NFL does not mind bad officiating making headlines, because it keeps them in the news cycle. It keeps everyone talking about it between games, and again, any publicity is good publicity, and it's not like people are going to stop watching. We're not. We're addicted, man. Speaking of addicted, so Goodell was talking about gambling and blah, blah, blah. Quote, the integrity of our game is critical, and so we spend a lot of time focusing on that, educating, make sure that all of our personnel are aware of our gambling policies in this case, or any other policy that can affect the integrity of our game. So, yeah, it does seem a little draconian that guys are getting basically their livelihoods taken away for 6 games a year for wagering, which, the NFL is major partners now with several online gambling sites, and with the apps, I mean, they basically video gamified sports betting, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And also, people betting like parlays on like really stupid prices, it makes my teeth hurt. But again, to each their own, and the entertainment is entertainment. I'm much more of a singles hitter when it comes to betting jelly beans, but it's a conversation for another day. But I understand, because it is a slippery slope thing, because, hey, this guy is betting on games. Hey, this guy is betting on the facility. Hey, this guy is betting on his own team. Hey, this guy is stuck multiple tens of thousands of dollars. Like, maybe he's still betting with a bookie, and you don't have to ask him about their collection methods. Maybe to forgive this 6, 7, 8 figure debt that this guy has racked up gambling, which It's certainly possible. You got young men with lots of testosterone, with lots of supposed disposable income, and a competitive problem. All of a sudden, like, those numbers can get pretty big, man. And then all of a sudden, it's like, hey, to make up for your debt, maybe you don't play so good this game, or something. Or hey, maybe your total yardage goes under 66.5. I don't know. We're just spitballing here. So, to a degree, I understand it, but also, I mean, they're grown-ass adults. Like, why can't they put a $5 parlay on the Nets, Lakers, and Bulls? It's just so stupid. It's just so ridiculous, man. Also ridiculous. So, Lions GM Brad Holmes has had 3 great drafts so far in Detroit. He's really stocked his roster with some premium talent. Wonder what that's like. But Brad Holmes had his end-of-season presser, and he brought receipts. Like, he brought some flamethrowers at the media. Like, it was kind of like the Michael Jordan Hall of Fame induction speech, where he just took a blowtorch to everyone, man. Ari Mariav, go. Amazing. Lions GM Brad Holmes cashed some receipts today at his press conference. You wanted us to pick a quarterback. You didn't want us to pick Penei Sewell. First of all, who was against the Penei Sewell pick? I mean, Penei Sewell was seen as a generational talent at tackle, and he fell in the draft. You got him at 7. Like, who was mad about that pick? That seems like a lot of straw manning revisionist history there. I know you said that was a miss. Who said that was a miss? Everybody, or you included? I give probably 2 people credit in this room for saying that they're wrong. It was many. It was you. And mainly he's talking about this year's draft where Jahmyr Gibbs at 12, Jack Campbell in the first round, and then Laporta and also Brian Branch. So for non-premium positions, all 4 guys are studs. All 4 guys are absolute studs. So, and a lot of draft experts really lampooned the Lions for their first 4 selections, basically saying that they wasted 2 first-rounders, 2 second-round picks. Nah. But I can't wait till Kwesi is able to have a couple of good drafts and just completely torch people. Or let Kirk go, trade up for a quarterback. The quarterback becomes a future Hall of Famer and raises up the franchise. And he's like, I told you. When did I tell you? I told you. Although Kwesi doesn't seem like a boastful kind of guy. And with Holmes, I respect the work that Brad Holmes has done, and he does have a right to thump his chest a little bit. But why do you give two doo-doos what the hell the media thinks? No, seriously, honestly. And now we know that Brad Holmes pays attention to the media, and he's super sensitive about it and takes it personally. So I don't know, man. Something I also take personally is the Vikings assistants not getting the time of day. So Giants are hiring Shane Bowen as their new DC. Daronte Jones had interviewed with the G-men for their open defense coordinator position. He did extremely well as DC for the national team down at the Senior Bowl this week. And I do think Daronte will get himself a shot eventually, but not this hiring cycle. And also, I'm really pissed off that Keenan McCardle hasn't gotten an OC interview, and same thing with Brian Flores for head coach. But argument for another day. Also, speaking of another day, so Christian Darrisaw saw him at the Wolves game, sitting courtside. Well, I wasn't sitting courtside, he was, but I love when Minnesota sports support each other. So Vikings at the Twins games, Twins at the Wild game, Wild doesn't go anywhere, but Vikings players at the Wolves games. It's fantastic, man. And I believe in the Wolves this year. We're going all the way. We'll see. Also, Caleb Evans. So, handful of non-Pro Bowl players attended the Pro Bowl. So, I don't know if this is like a comped thing or they literally paid their own dime to go to Orlando. Or maybe it's like an agency thing where the sports agents just give out comps and suites and stuff to get their guys down to the Pro Bowl, which is fine. I mean, Caleb Evans sitting there, corner of the end zone, pretty decent seats for the Pro Bowl, but I don't know, man. Like, if you see it as motivation for next year, sure. I also know that Dalvin and Jefferson were there too, but I mean, they've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and I want Caleb Evans to be good. I want him to be good. He's just been inconsistent until this point, but hopefully Daronte and Brian Flores can get him to where he needs to be. Speaking of Vikings cornerbacks, so Mekhi Blackmon is quickly becoming one of my favorites. So, there's a tweet about dry ski slope skills about ski jumping, which I don't know, man. All right. So, and then Mekhi quote tweeted it. People be like, bruh, you play a contact sport. I would never. Bruh, I'm never doing this do ever. And I'm right there with him, man. Where, football is not even just a contact sport. It's a collision sport, right? And it's very tough on the body. We know this. But I feel like ski jumping has got to be the dumbest thing that people do. I don't understand it. And also, skiing in general. So, growing up in the great state of Minnesota, which is great, I thank my lucky stars that I grew up in the corner of the state, A, that doesn't give two hoots about hockey, B, doesn't have a decent ski slope within 2 hours of it, because I dislike skiing so much, and snowboarding. I simply do not understand it. And maybe it's just because I am fervently against it. Like, if my kids ever asked to go skiing, I would say no. Straight up no. But the whole thing is like, what's the upside there? So the best case scenario is you spend a couple $100, maybe a couple thousand on gear, and you're mildly entertained for a couple hours. That's great. Worst case scenario, death. Worst case scenario, you're freezing cold, you fall on your ass, you bust your coccyx, you go Sonny Bono into the trees. There's no upside. Also, it's very binary. It's either mildly entertained or dead. That's it. Don't get it, man. Simply do not get it. Don't understand it. But Mackay, I'm with you, man. Like, ski jumping, no. Skiing in general, no. Snowboarding, no. Everything, no. That's all. Maybe I'm just against winter. Why do I live here? But this has been a good winter for us. Who knows, man? But that's it. Vikings news done for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.